been a poor start to the season overall for us. What was your take on today's game, and how do Man United get better from this point?
How do we get better from this point? That is a great question, bro. I've been asking the same question since I don't know. I think about what, April of last year, maybe. I think we have a lot of questions. I think Neji made a very good point about De Gea and Onana, which I guess everybody's gonna have to say that he was right. but here's the thing, though. My thing is that De Gea needed to leave, but Onana is absolutely objectively worse. Hussam was saying about his positioning. He was all over the place for all of the goals. Staffy was right. Casemiro is done. He has to go. And I think the other thing is every single season that Ten Hag's been here, we've lost at least 2 of the first 3. So we've essentially shot ourselves in the foot and then said, all right, guys, let's run this marathon now. That's what we've done. So to say, where do we go from here? I think this is everything that has happened so far is exactly where Ten Hag wants to be as far as how we play, the players that he plays, the structure that we play with, the massive hole in the midfield. I was watching with the missus, and she was like, "Can we not get Eriksen in? Can we not get someone to pack out this midfield?" And I was like, well, I mean, somebody needs to send a message to the manager, let him know that we should give that a try.
Can I ask you a question about that, Dizzy? Because in all 3 of our games so far this season, we've had large passages of play where that hole hasn't been there.
Yeah.
But as soon as the pressure seems to get on top, that's when I see us. It's almost like the team reverts to type.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if that's how I've seen it. I don't know if you see it in the same way.
I think we have too many. Well, I think with the 6 up top, I feel like if you're going into the game with a plan of we need 2 in the middle and we need 6 up top, the minute we go a goal down, the people who've been tasked to be the 6 up top, in their heads they're like, I have to be the guy to rescue us, kind of thing, and that's what creates the massive holes. I think. And like you said, before the first goal went in, we had Liverpool scored a goal that was disallowed. But generally speaking, we were playing all right. It wasn't great. It was the final ball that was missing, but we played all right. But I think the minute that goal went in, we were nowhere to be found in that game. And that part, to me, is a scary part because I saw that so many times last season. And I said, I'm not sure if Ten Hag can fix this. And people said, give him to this year. Let's see what he does. And it looks like we've played this season just like we played last season. So if the same thing happens this season as did last season, can anyone really be surprised? I say no. That's what I say.
I get that. And as you say, the starts of all 3 seasons have been almost identical. And this time round, for everyone that was... We've got to give the manager another go. Why isn't it better? Again, I'm not saying we should be as good as City, Liverpool, or Arsenal, but the fact that overall, objectively speaking, it hasn't got better on the result level. There's elements that are good, but that needs to be looked at. And that's why I heard Gary Neville say they'll give him until December. Maybe they will, but I want them to be thinking about it at the very least. Because they can't be watching that and saying, "Oh yeah, that looks good." They can't. And again,
they look seething. If you looked at, if you watched them,
it's good to see. But that's how you act like a big club. We know this now, and I believe it's in place. We are not building the club in Ten Hag's image per se, so you don't need to keep him. You don't need to. If he isn't coaching the team well enough to win more games, if he isn't developing the players, you take him out. You bring somebody else in. It should be far easier to do that now than in years gone by. So for me, it's a case of the manager start getting more at the team. They start performing better. They stop conceding so many. Or you're gone. I'd be in his office today saying it. I wouldn't say you're not sacked, but I would do that to my staff. And some of you have spent part of the summer working for me. I'll tell you straight. Your edits are shit. They're always in late. You're not turning up on time for the meetings. You get this done by this date, or you're done. It's just that's how you manage people. In the real world, I know in the corporate world nowadays, you have to performance manage people over 16 years before you could sack them, even if they're shit at their jobs. But that's not in the real world. Like, it's crazy to me. Tom, obviously a big result for yourselves today. It has been a phenomenal start for Liverpool under Slot. First manager since Liverpool manager since 1936 to win his first game at Old Trafford. Top of the league, 3 clean sheets, lots of goals being scored. Who are these fools that doubted you being in the title race?
Chelsea fans mainly. No, look, we're in a really good spot. Going into the season, we had a squad that could challenge for the league last year, and it fell off towards the end because we had a multitude of external factors. But I was, every time I was coming on this show after games last season, I was saying we are too open defensively. We are putting Van Dijk and Konate or Van Dijk and Quansah in too many situations where they're having to 1v1 defend. This season, I think we've put them into one, maybe, and that was off a corner against Ipswich, who notably gave us a better game than today. Fixing the problems the system had last season could be worth 6 points in itself. Being more defensively solid, having more control over games, it's so important. You cannot win a title going ping pong football. You can't. You'll wear yourself out, and we saw that last season. We were really, really good until March, and then everyone ran out of gas. And throughout April, it was horrendous because we were on our last legs, and teams were just waiting for us. Now, I mean, we were Olania in the 55th minute. We were taking the piss. We were having a right laugh at Old Trafford. And I don't even think we were necessarily that great. It was like another Arnie Slot performance where he watched the first 20 minutes and went, right, this is where they're getting us, and switched it up. I've got to be honest, Gravenberch gets a lot of credit. Szoboszlai for the first 70 minutes was so important to what we were doing because he was the guy leading the press every single time. He would go press Martinez, then he'd go on to Casemiro. He was the guy funneling you into areas you didn't want to go to. And that was where you were playing the dodgy passes into Mainu. I feel a bit for Mainu because he was constantly getting hospital balls from Dallo, Casemiro, De Ligt, about 3 yards away from him with Gravenberch or Szoboszlai right on him. He's never going to win them. So that was why he was getting caught out in a number of situations. We're just looking really good. I mean, I've got a lot of time for the way we're playing under Arne Slot. I like the way that we're managing the players. Taking Trent off when we are doing, saves him so we can play him for 70 minutes at the top level rather than have him break down in January or February like he did last year. I'm just, there's so much to like by the way we're playing. I mean, I'm Mo Salah. People will go on and on about. Diaz says a lot of credit as well. I thought there was going to be a world where Diaz was going to be the third ever player to get a hat-trick at Old Trafford. And United fans would never have lived that down. Just putting out there. But Mohamed Salah, people need to start respecting what he is. There can be no argument from not being in a Premier League all-time 11 on that right-hand side. Start of this season, 3 goals, 3 assists in 3 games. And this is normal. This is what he does every year. We're not caught off guard by it. We're not singing the high heavens of it. Every single year, Mohamed Salah gives you consistent greatness.
You know what's so crazy? It's crazy. Look, Man United have got 2 players that are in the running for that, in Ronaldo and David Beckham. But what I will, and it's hard because you're probably going to put him on the right hand. Like, if you're going to do an old-fashioned 4-4-2, he isn't in the team. If you're doing a 4-3-3, if you break it into eras, there's a different conversation. However, let's not get into that debate. Mo Salah's numbers are on par of goals and assists per game with Thierry Henry, and they have been. Mo Salah is in the conversation to be the Premier League GOAT. The only thing that's going to stop him from getting it is 2 things. One of them Liverpool fans are not going to like, one they know is true. I think he needs another Premier League title or 2, and you've got to win it. You've got to win it this year because he's probably going to leave, right? I think because the other guys that are in that conversation, we all know winning trophies is important. The other thing is you Liverpool fans, to get him to be where he should be as the GOAT of the Prem, you've got to drop the nonsense that Gerrard was your best Premier League player. Because you can't say Gerrard's your greatest ever Premier League player or your greatest ever player, but Mo Salah's a Premier League GOAT, because it doesn't compute. If Mo Salah's a Premier League GOAT, he's your best player. So Liverpool fans, I know why you love Stevie. I actually get it and I respect it. But I think, do you want to know something that's true about your club? I think your club's got the greatest PR machine in world football. The greatest PR machine in world football. Say thank you, Stevie. But you could, I actually think if you and your media start pushing it, you could get it to pass by general consensus Mo Salah's the GOAT. But it means you've got to say cheers and thank you, Stevie. It's on you guys.
I've accepted for a number of years Salah is our greatest ever Premier League player because you cannot look at what he's achieved
You fucking wool.
You can say that, Hassam. There's a difference between greatest and best.
Hang on a minute. How are you calling someone from Liverpool a wall?
You're moving like a Jedi. Don't disrespect Gerard like that.
It's not disrespect though, because there's a difference between best and greatest. Steven Gerrard will forever be our best ever Premier League player because he had more ability than I will ever see any other player have for Liverpool. But you cannot look at what Mohamed Salah has achieved as a Liverpool player and look at it in terms of a greatness spectrum. The man is one golden boot behind the all-time most for Premier League golden boots. He's one player of the year behind the all-time most for player of the years. Let's say he goes on to have a record-breaking season this season, and Liverpool, we have a perfect season. There can be minimum arguments against him being the Premier League.
Can we not argue and can we focus on United's downfall? That's a better conversation.
That's been going on for years.
But sorry, Mo. I had a comment come here. It says, Terry, you're a weirdo. Why do you care about Liverpool legends? Liverpool fans don't care who your legends are. It's not about me caring per se. It's about me hearing, why doesn't Mo Salah get the respect he deserves? Because you've got to put him on the pedestal. It's down to your football club and your fans.
He is on the pedestal. He doesn't have to be number one.
But I'm telling you now, when the GOAT conversations come about when he's left the Premier League, because normally you leave, Liverpool fans are going to ask, well, why can't Mo Salah be the GOAT? Well, because you put other people above him. I'm just feeding back. You've sometimes got to, most people, Messi and Ronaldo are different because what they've done is alien level. But when you actually think about this, I think Thierry Henry is one of the greatest footballers England's ever had. Agreed. But for 20 years, his status as the GOAT, it's almost been put into this undebatable category, which I've always thought is mad. Everyone goes, you can't debate that. And I'm like, well, you can debate anything. How can you not debate that? The problem is that you as fan bases have to control what's said about your own players. And I just think you guys should put a lot more, even more love than you do towards Mo Salah. That's all.